Hey, welcome to this week's Adventures with Peps. We are painting Karl Raider from the Judge Dredd miniature games made by Warlord Games. So, for those who don't know, Karl Raider, he is a vigilante ex-judge who now lives in the city bottom. He graduated from the Academy of Law as a judge in 2079, same year as Joe and Rico. He was the only judge that year to even come close to equaling the clone brothers on marksmanship. Now, unfortunately for Raider, he fell in love, and obviously that's not allowed, so he was booted from the Justice Department. I actually just read about this character in volume 18 of the Judge Dredd case files, where we see Karl Raider looking after the citizens of Hive Bottom, but ultimately he's doing it in the most aggressive way that he can, so the Justice Department have to take him down. And we get Judge Dredd and we get some Wally squad action going on, and it's pretty sad, but it had to happen. Ugh. Right, let's get to painting. So here we have him. He is primed with a nice white, not too heavy on it. You can actually still see a little bit of the grey model coming through. He's in a gunslinger pose. He's got 2 pistols plus his lawgiver, which is tucked into his belt. I'm going to kick things off with the holy white. There's not much on this model that needs to be white. It's just going to be his chest. He's got like a nice crisp white shirt on. So we're just going to slap it on there and see how we go. With it being white, I don't have to be too delicate, I don't have to worry. The other colours can recover from having this as a base coat. So let's just get it on and jump into the next stage, shall we? And that next stage is going to be hardened leather. In the artwork, he actually has like black boots, but I don't like the black speed paint. So we're going to use hardened leather. Going to use it on the boots and of course his belt buckle. Just making sure we're neat at this stage because his coat is going to be a lighter colour and his trousers are going to be purple, so we don't want to mess this up too much, or at least try not to. With one boot down, we move on to the second one. Once again, just patiently taking our time to find where the edging is. Keep it clean, keep it tidy now so that I don't have to try and fix it later. It's looking pretty good. I think I've got nice coverage so far. Just got to do the back of the boots. And we should be laughing. Look at this. This character is so sad in the stories. The love of his life that he left the Justice Department for sadly dies of rad poisoning following the Apocalypse War. He doesn't have much to live for, but he's looking after the citizens at the bottom, the citizens that the Justice Department rarely help out because they just don't have time. And in the story, he goes after some gangsters, gets them in trouble obviously, like all good things in a Judge Dredd story. But there's the classic line, you want to pick on somebody? I want you to pick on me. And he blasts the hands off the gangster. It's so cool. I feel like in game this guy is going to be a lot of trouble for a judge to handle. With the brown drying, we're going to move on to Crusader skin. Basically I'm trying to work out the order to paint in so that I'm away from the wet paint that's just been done. Give it time to dry properly so they don't bleed into each other. And I feel like the head and the hands are as far away from the belt and the boots as I can be. So we're just going to splodge this on. Now the one thing I gotta say about these Warlord game models, they're so tiny. I'm used to painting Warhammer like most of you guys. And that's like heroic 32mm scale. These guys are proper realistic 32mm, I guess you'd call it. So his hands are absolutely tiny. But we'll try our best not to mess this up, because I don't want to have to redo it. And then I'm going to try and follow his hairline and pick out his ears on his face. Try not to pull the flesh tone too much. He is a pretty basic white guy. There's nothing too special about him. He's got greying black hair. He's a white guy. you know. Now for a fun colour, the Hive Dweller Purple. I'm always excited to use this colour. Who doesn't love some bright purple trousers? Make sure we're not blurry too much during this video. I'm slowly getting there, guys. I'm learning my angles. I'm learning my distances. There we go. This paint goes on lovely. I'm not 100% sold on the primer that I currently have. It's a brush-on primer, but it seems to be really glossy. I'm getting a very glossy finish on this model. So I definitely need to grab some matte varnish once I'm fully certain that it's dried. We're going to spray it down and make it less shiny, I guess. You'll see in the final photos he is one shiny guy. I don't particularly mind it, as they are comic books, but compared to the other miniatures that I used a more traditional primer on, this rattle can, they're not as shiny. So something about this primer is making him very shiny. Alright, let's show him off at this stage. Got the brown boots, brown belt, flesh is done, and those purple slacks are all done. Now in the comic he obviously has, I'm not entirely sure if they're braces or holsters. They're black in the comic. I didn't want to have black because his lawgiver's going to be black. So that's too dark on his chest. So I went for a pallid bone instead. Hopefully it will stand off from the white on his shirt just enough, but be a different shade of brown from what his jacket's going to be, and of course what the belt and his boots are. And they're tiny little detail, so there's not much I had to do there. I just splodged it on. A little bit leaked onto his shirt, so I will have to clean that up, but I want to brighten that up anyway. That'll probably be done off camera, so you'll see it in the final photos. And whilst we're just waiting on that to dry, this is a good time to say give me a like, give me a subscribe, and all that really good stuff. I love comments as well, so if you want to drop me a comment, go for it, even if it's just a simple hello. It'll put a smile on my face. Got a feeling I forgot to show the paint bottle, but up next is going to be Sand Golem, I think it's called. And that's going to be on the coat. He has this very strange looking raincoat, I believe it is, like a trench coat. But it has these massive shoulder pads that if I didn't have artwork to go off, I would have probably painted them some bright bold colours. But I do have artwork to go off. I know they're all the same colour. So we're just going to go around the arms, shoulder pads, all down the side, making sure I get plenty of paint where there's going to be shadow. I do love loading up the brush with paint. I know speed paint is 100% cheating, but this is probably the most I've ever painted in a year. It's more than I would normally get done, so I'm pretty damn happy with the results. I'm even more happy to actually have some models painted and to be able to start doing some battle reports. I think it will be fun. We're going to work our way through the starter games. I'm on mission 2 very soon. And then we're going to work through the mini scenarios that Warlord Games have been releasing on their website. Make sure you go check out what they're up to over there. They got some really cool ones. There's a Clegg one that I really want to play because I love Cleggs. And then there's one with Orlok where he's got to escape. There's a food riot which involves the fatties. So there's plenty going on. And I've got plenty to get on with. I just need the time to do it all. Might even have to take a holiday to do some filming. The wife and kids would love that. I'm on holiday this week, but don't disturb me. I'm filming some games. Alright, we skipped forward a little bit. The coat is definitely the longest process. It's the biggest part of the miniature. So you just got to make sure it's done right once. I don't want to have to go back. I don't want to accidentally have to rub paint off the model because I'm having to go back to try and fix stuff. So I'm trying to get it all whilst it's wet. It's hot, it's humid as well in Ottawa. So you got to be relatively quick. But there you go, you can see how he's looking currently. He's not far off. We've just pretty much got the guns and the hair to do. Obviously the base, and then I will be taking some pretty pictures. I'll do a little bit extra off the camera. I want to make his white shirt pop a bit more. Maybe do a bit more on his hairline. But first, before we get there, I'm going to do the runic grey for his pistols. And that is a nice easy step. He's got his 2 little pistols. I'm going to do the Lawgiver with this for now. But as mentioned at the end, I'm probably going to go over it with like a Baden Black from the Citadel range whilst I'm doing his white shirt. They're just, I want it to pop more than what I think the Speed Paint Black would do for it. He doesn't have a lot going on for him, apart from looking down the twin barrels of his gunfighting pose. And the key features that need to pop is his white shirt and the black Lawgiver that's in his belt. So I've got to make sure they're strong colours. And I think the Citadel range will have to be the key for now. At some point I need to get more army painter paints. It's just one of those things. There's so much on my to buy list that it's hard to prioritise. At the moment it's not a priority, but I would love to get more of the army painter sets. Let me know if you've used them and if there's one I should try and grab first. As much as possible I want to move away from the Citadel paints. I find they dry up in the pots way too quick, especially in hot weather. Then we're going to do the base with some Gravelord Grey. I'm also going to use this on his head for his hairline. In the images he's got like this dark black starting to turn grey because he's an older gent. The timeline is moving forward in Judge Dredd every year. And in theory he finished the academy in 2079, was it? Forgotten already. So he's getting on already. Because what, he'd have been 15 then? And by the time this story's out, he's probably pushing late 40s, maybe even early 50s. It's always hard to know with Judge Dredd how old everyone is. But I'm just doing like splodgy splatches. It's hair after all, it doesn't need to be one smooth coat. I want some splodges, make it look like his hair's been chopped up a bit. And to be honest, that is the model done. I'm going to work on the base, I'll do some base coats, and you can see the finished model in these beautiful pictures that are now appearing on screen. As always, if you've watched the whole video, please remember to drop me a subscribe, a like and a comment. It really does help. Also brings a smile to my face. And until next time, cheers for watching.